words, he has narrated all this story, how this is here Tulsi can let Hanuman handle that situation and explain that situation. That how when Sita inquires, how did monkeys and Ram get friendly with one another? Then he narrates the entire story, how he was the main instrument between Sugriv and Ram, brought them together. This is normal, this is okay. Tulsi can allow Hanuman to say all those things. But when it is coming to something which is sublime, he cannot allow it to happen through the mouth of Hanuman. Although Hanuman is an instrument then, but he is an instrument of the divine, instrument of Shri Ram. That element which is same as the Brahma Tattva, the cosmic element in all the Vedas. Aham Ramamasmi instead of Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma and Ram is the same element. This is the beauty. How many of us understand this sutra? Tat prem karmam arutora janat priya ek manmora suman sada rahat koi payi janu preet apne hi mayi. Only through these words alone try to feel the love eternal that I am. This comes only when an individual attains to oneness within, and that oneness comes through mindfulness, awareness, and then one day awakening reaches to that fruition, that harmony happens within. And once this comes in the inside, it does not matter. I don't read scriptures, I don't read Ramayana, Ramcharitmanas. Maybe when I was a student many years ago, that certain sutras of Ramcharitmanas were a part of our curriculum. Once that insight comes, whatever circumstance and situation comes, you can decode that situation. What does that circumstance and situation brings to you? When you go similarly into Bhagavad Puram, what does Veena, the Venu says? I am hollow inside. I do not speak unless I am asked to. I do not speak more than what I am asked to. I have no inertia of my own. There is a connectivity between the trees and the water element. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Puran, Shri Narayan composed 4 shlokas, sutras. This is known as Chatushpadi Bhagavat. In the first sutra, he explains the cosmic element, the Brahma Tattva. In the second sutra, which is equally important, is Maya Tattva. Why did he spoke of the Brahma Tattva first and then Maya? The Brahma, the understanding of that oneness that surrounds us, that prevails this, that pervades this cosmos. Ishopanishad says, Ishavasyanidam sarvam, yat kinch jagatyan jagat, tel tekten bhunjitha, magrada kashish vidhanam. This world is nothing else but the extension of oneness, one. That is truth. That is existential. If you are in harmony with that, you can enjoy the fruits of duality, you can enjoy the fruits of Maya. When a breeze is blowing, you can enjoy. When a fruit is falling from the tree, you can enjoy. So in the second sutra, he speaks of Maya, its elements, its nature. It is like a story which is written by a story writer. Then it is given to the director. He chooses, he understands the story very well. He chooses the characters, assigns the roles to different characters, direct them in the performance of that act. This is what is Maya. Then he speaks on the water element. Just imagine the significance of water. Water flows. Water is consciousness. Water is energy. There is a connectivity between the water and there is a harmony between water and the plants. Water nourishes the plants. And when the water reaches the plant, there is a process that takes place, photosynthesis. And through that process, the water nourishes and nurtures the plants. It is the consciousness that brings, nourishes and nurtures everything, that brings the creation, brings the new fruits, brings the new leaves, brings new petals, brings the new life. And then lastly he speaks the Atma Tattva, the soul elements. And in these 4 shlokas, the entire Bhagavad Puran is narrated in a capsule form. Then Brahma gave it to his son Narad, the wandering sage, the mystic. He narrates it to Vedavyas. Vedavyas narrates it to his son Sukdev. And out of that, Vedavyas composed 18,000 sutras. In the episode where Bhishma uses 11 sutras, and in the first 9, he narrates the 9 elements of devotion, Navada Bhakti. It's not that Navada Bhakti is only in Ramcharitmanas. The basic element of devotion are 9-fold. Tulsi narrates it through the character of Shabri, and Bhagavad Puran Vedavyas narrates it through the character of Bhishma. So Tulsi and Bhishma both are capable of narrating these 9 sutras, 9 elements of devotion. And in the last 2 sutras, he explains the Brahman and the Atma Tattva, the duality of you and I. In order to understand this, we need mindfulness, we need awareness. Mindfulness is the beginning of the journey in meditation. Mindfulness helps us to focus our attention and know what we are doing. know what we are. As an individual, we are slaves to society, traditions, and dogmas. Our energies dissipate here, there, and everywhere. Our body and mind do not function in harmony. To start being aware of all that we are doing, saying, and thinking is to begin resisting all invasions by our surroundings and also our wrong perceptions. When the lamp of our awareness is lit, our whole being lights up. Self-confidence is rediscovered, and the dark shadows of illusion no longer overwhelm us. It also develops our concentration to its optimum. Intelligence is born. Knowledge is no more. With this, we wash our hands and clothes and perform day-to-day actions as before. But something has changed within. Now the lamp of awareness is lit. We are aware of all our actions, words, and thoughts. The practice of mindfulness is essential, not only for the novice, but for everyone, even for the masters and Buddhas as well. Meditation is a lifelong process. The forces of mindfulness and concentration are like the spiritual force behind men of awareness. It brings deep insight and awakening. With this, one gets the clarity of vision. Once it happened, a person came to a Sufi master Junaid to learn meditation, but he was in a hurry. So he slammed the door as he entered, took off his shoes, and instead of positioning them properly, he flung his shoes that got scattered. This is the normal way that we operate in our day-to-day life. Sufis have created a situation, a design for something to happen, and thus he reached in front of the master. At this, Junaid asked the person to go first, apologize to the door and shoes. This baffled the person. This situation explains the ordinary circumstance, the ordinary way of dealing, the ordinary person as we are. This is the most simple and day-to-day circumstance and situation that we are faced with it. Many will pass this situation and will consider it normal, but a man of insight, a man of awareness, a man of meditativeness will use these simple examples to bring awareness in the aspirants. This baffled the person to go and seek an apology from the door and shoes. This is madness, he thought. Won't we think like this? The exact situation how we interact in the world. First of all, he points out that. But in front of Junaid, he have no choice, because Junaid refused to help him unless he sought an apology. Unwillingly, he went to apologize. Now this is how we are. If your son does something and you as a mother ask this son to go and apologize, first he argues that I am not the only one to be blamed, you always blaming me but not the other. Then he tries to evade the situation that he has to go and apologize when there is no other choice, because he has to get the benefit, the chocolate that the mother has, he has to listen to her, apologize unwillingly. So the man went unwillingly to apologize to the door. As he did, something happened to him. This is the Sufi device, Sufi methodology, the Sufi design. This is Naqshband, creating the situation, designing a circumstance and situation, and then through that give the message. And this message which is given can never be forgotten by an individual. Whenever you will take off your shoes in a place where you have to go, you will remember these words. And immediately something dawns. This is a device, a methodology, a way of the masters. As he did, something happened to him. He became mindful. Also he felt compassion, a surge of love within. This is the first lesson in meditation, said Junaid. I have heard of another anecdote of a Zen master. A certain disciple lived in the monastery. He was learning mindfulness. One day he sought the permission of the master to go for a polo match nearby. Listen to these words, the simplicity of the language and the effectiveness, the emotions. It has been put on an emotional platter in a very simple way. This is how the message is to be communicated. The entire book is filled with this kind of style and the format. The master permitted him for the match. When the disciple returned, the master inquired if he was tired. This is normal situation. You send your son, when he comes back, you ask him. The disciple nodded in affirmation. Now nothing else is to be said again. Nodded in affirmation. This is more poetic rather than saying he said yes. He nodded in affirmation. Then the master inquired if the horses were tired. Now as far as when I ask you, you are tired, you will say yes. If I ask you if your car is tired, you will immediately say what kind of nonsense is this? How can car be tired? Then the master inquired if the horses were tired. This question confused the disciple. Hesitatingly, when you are confused, you cannot be spontaneous in your response. So he hesitated. Hesitatingly, he responded in affirmation. This took some time. But hesitatingly, he responded in affirmation. Now, there is two words used in the first. When he asked, "Are you tired?" the person, the writer says, he nodded in affirmation. If someone asks you, "Do you want chocolate?" you will immediately show through your gestures. Nodded in affirmation. Then hesitatingly, he responded in affirmation. The second way. This took some time. Then the master inquired if the Poles were also tired, because it was a polo match. This the disciple could not understand. So he did not answer and went to sleep. The whole night he could not sleep. He thought, the master cannot be wrong. This is a Sufi device. Asks a question, makes him to ponder, to think over it whole night. Now, it does not mean that he will not fall asleep. He will be sleeping, but his sleep will be that of awareness. He will be aware of the question in his sleep. And the thought keeps on remaining in his mind, the master cannot be wrong. Master asked the question. Probably I have not understood. When these kind of thought remains in the mind, the person cannot fall asleep or fall into unconsciousness. Although he has gone to sleep, but yet still there is an element of awareness. The methodology. With the dawn, something descended. The sunrise, rising of the sun, with the rising of the sun, something dawned into the disciple. This is why that dawn is considered as an auspicious period for insights, meditativeness, prayers. He rushed to the hut of the master and asked the master to repeat the question. The master repeated the question. Immediately the disciple said, "Yes, indeed, the Poles were also tired." Now, after a situation of hesitation, he has to use these words, "Yes, indeed, the Poles were also tired." Yes, indeed, the Poles were also tired. This shows the person has come out of that situation where he has found himself because of unconsciousness, lack of mindfulness. When an individual attains mindfulness, insights comes to, compassion begins to flow. Such a person envisions aliveness even through the inanimate. Now this is the conclusion of that incident. When you are reading any book written by a master, read it a little louder, as if you are hearing it, you are not reading it. This is the beauty, this is the way a book is supposed to be read. Read it a little loud. You are not reading it, you are hearing the words. You can understand the nuances of the master, how he has used these words. The pause, it becomes a melody when the words close like that. I have just narrated a passage from the book, the chapter Mindfulness and Meditation. In the journey of meditation, one cannot get insights just by intellect, study, scriptures, hypothesis, analysis and synthesis. The student must use his or her entire being as an instrument of realization. Remember, intellect is only one part of our being. Often, intellect drives us away from living reality. When the student lives around a master within his energy field, he begins to do everything mindfully. It does not matter what he does. What matters really is the key of mindfulness. Carrying the water, collecting wood for the fire, preparing food, planting lettuce, one learns mindfulness. One meditates in a sitting posture, but one learns mindfulness while carrying water, cooking or planting. All these are not merely utilitarian actions. It is the essence of meditation. Every circumstance, every situation, every action can be used to bring mindfulness within. If we are not practicing mindfulness while performing such works, we are wasting our time in meditation. It will be better than to forget meditation and go and live in the world. On the contrary, when we are mindful of such things, such minute things, we can easily attain to meditation. Only this much for now.